You ever stop and wonder what your smart devices are actually doing when you're not paying attention? We buy them for convenience, right? But a lot of them come with these hidden features, turned on by default, that you never even said yes to. So let's dig in and find out what's really going on behind the scenes.
So let me ask you this, just straight up. Is it possible that your Ring doorbell is sharing a little piece of your internet connection with some random device down the street right this second? The answer, well, it might actually surprise you. And it's the perfect way to kick off what we're talking about today. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to uncover this secret network your devices might already be a part of. Then we'll dive into the specifics of the tech. After that, we'll hit the big privacy problem here, show you exactly how to get back in the driver's seat, and then we'll zoom out and look at the bigger picture. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, your device's secret network. We're going to start with the foundation of this whole thing, this hidden shared network that, you might be helping to build without even knowing it. It's a thing called Amazon Sidewalk. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like a huge neighborhood-wide Wi-Fi network that's been crowdsourced. It's designed to keep little gadgets like pet trackers or smart lights connected, even if they wander away from their own home's Wi-Fi. So how does this actually work? Well, picture this. Your neighbor's dog, who has a tile tracker on its collar, gets out and wanders down the street. As it passes your house, that little tracker connects to your Ring doorbell. Your doorbell then acts as a bridge, using a tiny bit of your internet to send the dog's location up to the cloud. You're basically a pit stop in this giant network. And don't think this is some small-time operation. The scale of this network is absolutely massive. Why? Because millions and millions of devices were automatically opted in. And because of that, get this, over 90% of the US population now lives inside an area covered by Sidewalk. That's what happens when you build a network on devices that are quietly contributing in the background. It's huge. Okay, so that's the network. Now let's get a little more specific. Section 2, Sidewalk and Search Party Explained. We're going to look at the two key features that are at the center of this whole discussion. All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Sidewalk uses a mix of Bluetooth and the 900 megahertz spectrum, which gives it this really impressive range. We're talking up to half a mile. Now, to make sure you don't really notice it, your bandwidth contribution is capped at a tiny 80 kilobits per second, and your monthly data use is capped at 500 megabytes. But here, this is the real kicker, the last point on the slide. You have no way of seeing which devices are connecting to your bridge. None. You're a part of the network, but you're completely blind to who's using your connection. Now, layered on top of Sidewalk, you have this new feature called Ring Search Party. And honestly, on the surface, it sounds like a fantastic idea. Your neighbor's dog goes missing, they send out an alert, and the AI in your camera automatically scans your video history to see if it can spot the lost pup. Pretty neat, right? So, a shared network to help find lost pets. It sounds great, but the problem here isn't really the technology itself. It's all about how it was rolled out. And that brings us right to the heart of the issue, the default on privacy problem. To really get this, we've got to be super clear about two ways companies ask for your permission. First, you've got opt-in. That's when they ask you, hey, do you want to join? And you have to physically click yes. Then there's opt-out. That's the total opposite. You're signed up automatically, and the burden is completely on you to hunt down the setting and say no. And you guessed it, here's the punchline. Both Amazon Sidewalk and Ring Search Party are opt-out. They were just turned on for millions of users through a software update, which means countless people are sharing their internet and having their video footage scanned by AI without ever once making a conscious decision to do so. And this is where the concern starts to get a little deeper. This quote is from Ring's own promotional material. I want you to pay really close attention to those first three words, starting with lost pets. And people definitely noticed. As one user on Reddit put it, that phrase immediately sends up a red flag. Starting with implies that finding dogs is just phase one. A system that can identify and track a specific dog across a network of cameras could, just as easily be taught to identify and track other things, or even people. And when you zoom out, you can start to see how all these different pieces could fit together. So step 1, Sidewalk creates the massive physical network. Step 2, partnerships, like the one Ring has with a company called Flock Safety, can create a streamlined way for law enforcement to request footage. And then step 3, future features, like the planned familiar faces, could add powerful facial recognition into the mix. Each piece builds on the last, creating what some worry is becoming a really powerful surveillance ecosystem. Okay, so that's the problem. But here's the good news. You are not powerless here. You are in control. So let's walk through, step by step, exactly what you need to do to check these settings and decide for yourself if you want to be a part of this. All right, both of these settings are buried in the same place, the Control Center in your Ring app. As you can see here, the steps are pretty much the same for both. You're going to open the main menu, hit Control Center, and then you'll see separate options for Search Party and Amazon Sidewalk. In each one, you'll find a simple toggle switch to turn it off. Feel free to pause here if you want to open up your app and follow along. Okay, now don't stop there. This next part is really, really important because Sidewalk is an Amazon thing, not just a Ring thing. You also have to check your Alexa app. In fact, this is kind of the master switch for your whole account. Just open the app, go to Settings, then Account Settings, find Amazon Sidewalk, and you'll see that same toggle. This makes sure that even if you don't have a Ring camera, your Echo speakers aren't quietly acting as Sidewalk bridges. So you've gone in, you've disabled the features you're not comfortable with. Awesome. But before we wrap up, let's just take one final step back and look at the bigger picture here, at the broader context of what's going on. You know, taking back control doesn't have to stop with just these two features. In that same Control Center, you can turn off notifications for law enforcement requests. You can make sure future facial recognition stuff stays off. For cameras you have inside, a simple physical power switch gives you total peace of mind when you're home. You can even just turn off the general Neighbors app alerts if you find they're more of a distraction than a help. Because at the end of the day, this whole conversation isn't really about just one or two features. It's about a much bigger trend that's worth thinking about. This idea of self-installed surveillance. For convenience, for our own security, we are often the ones who are voluntarily buying and installing this massive surveillance network in our own neighborhoods, one device at a time.
And that really leaves us with this final question to chew on. Every time we set up a new smart device, every time a new feature gets turned on by default, are we making a fair trade? Is a little bit of extra convenience worth contributing to a whole lot of surveillance? That's a choice everyone has to make for themselves. But now, at least you know how to make it. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please remember to like and subscribe. Hope to see you in the next video.